So what we're asking you to do here is multiply and divide decimal numbers by other decimals. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is this one here, where it asks us to do 1.2 multiplied by 3.5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that again just beside it, but I'm just going to ignore my decimal points just now. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry out this multiplication here on the right. Okay, and so my first step when I'm doing this is I'm going to drop the decimals. And multiply like normal. So 5 times 2 is 10, 0 carry 1, 5 ones are 5, plus this one there is 6. I'm going to multiply by the 3, but it's in the tens column, so I write down my 0. 3 2s are 6, 3 1s are 3, and I'm going to add them up. 0 plus 0, 0, 6 and 6 is 12, 2 carry 1 gives me 420. Next step is I'm going to count how many decimal places there were. Originally. So in the first one I had 1 decimal place, second one I also had 1 decimal place. So altogether that was 2 decimal places. Okay, so my third step I'm going to do, count the total in from the right, and I'm going to mark the point. And so I've gone 1, 2, there is my answer. And so my answer to that one is 4.2. We can just leave it as 4.2. We don't need to write it as 4.20. That 0 doesn't add anything for us there. So that is my first example. So trying that again with the second one, I've got 2.4 multiplied by 3.6. So I'm going to write it out the same as I did last time. 24 multiplied by 36. 6 4s are 24, carry my 2, 6 2s are 12, plus the other 2 is 14. I want to multiply through by my 3, but it's in the tens column, so it's really 30. So write down my 0, 3 4s are 12, write down my 2, carry the 1, 3 2s are 6, plus that one is 7. So I'm going to add them up, 4, 6, 8. So I've multiplied my decimals. I've multiplied my numbers, haven't dropped my decimals, just like normal. Second step, count how many there were. There's 1 decimal place in this number, 1 decimal place in that. That's 2 altogether. And so I count 2 places in from the right in my new number. 1, 2. So my answer to that is 8.64. Third one, we're going to do 0.5 multiplied by 5.8. Okay, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to write them the other way around. So I've got 58 multiplied by, I'll write it just that way, but it's just 5 on the bottom, so that's going to save me an extra line. 5 times 8 is 40, so I've got 0, carry my 4, 5 5s are 25, plus the 4 is 29. I've got 1 decimal place there, 1 decimal place there, so I've got to come in 1, 2 places, and so I end up getting 2.9 as my answer. Fourth one, in fact let's see if we can squeeze this fourth one up here. I've got 1.34 multiplied by 3.4, and so that is going to look like 134 multiplied by 34. Set it out, so 4 4s are 16, 6 carry 1, 4 6s are 12, plus this other one is 13, carry that, 4 1s are 4, plus the other one is 5. So multiplying through by my 3, but it's not 3 really, it's worth 30, so I'll write down my 0 and go again. 3 4s are 12, so write down my 2, carry the 1, 3 3s are 9, plus this other one is 10, so 0 carry 1, 3 1s are 3, plus that is 4. Add up the columns, I get 6, 5, 5, 4. Okay, remember to just count your big numbers and not the numbers that you've carried, otherwise you get a little bit muddled up. So looking back at my numbers, I had 2 decimal places in that first number and 1 in the second, so that's 3 altogether. And so all I'm going to do here is I'm going to count in 3 places. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and so my answer is 4.556. Okay, so this time we're going to look at the divides. And so for our 5th example, we've got 1.8 divided by 0.9. And in other videos, we had a look at how we don't really like the divide sign if we can help it. A lot of the time it can be made a little bit easier if we use fractions. And in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to write them as fractions, because it's fractions that are going to help us here. Okay, now we don't have to stick with the idea of fractions, but I don't like 1.8 divided by 0.9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my equivalent fractions, and I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 10. So remember, when we do something to the top, as long as we do it to the bottom, our fraction's still worth the same amount. And so that gives me a new fraction of 18 divided by 9. 18 divided by 9 is just 2. Okay, so that one here is a lot easier to solve than the first one. Okay, and that's what we're looking to do with our equivalent fractions. What we're looking to do is multiply them up so that we're dealing with whole numbers again. So the 5th one, we're going to do, the 6th one, sorry. We're going to do 45 divided by 0.5. So again, I'm going to write that out as a fraction. I've got 45 over 0.5. Okay, if I multiply the bottom number by 10, that'll get rid of my decimal. So I need to multiply the top number by 10. And so that leaves me 450 in the top with 5 in the bottom. Now, once we've done our divide and we've gotten rid of our decimals and we're just dealing with whole numbers, there is nothing that says after that that you cannot still work it out this kind of traditional way if you need to do so, right? We're not too bothered about that. We just need to get to a point where we can actually make some steps towards answering it. Okay, so if we carry that out, or if we keep our fraction going, it doesn't really matter, we should find that 90 is our answer. So let's have a look at another one, 2.01. Divided by 0.03. So I'm going to chuck it in as a fraction again, 2.01 over 0.03. Now this time, the most number of decimal places I've got is 2. And so I'm going to need to multiply top and bottom by 100 this time. And so that is going to give me 201 divided by 3. Okay, so again, you might want to set it out like that. If you do, that's alright. We'd like to try and get to a point where we don't need to, but if ever you do need to write down your working, always write it down. So how many 3's go into 2? It doesn't carry over. How many 3's goes into 20? 6 of them. Remainder 2. How many 3's go into 21? 7. So we get an answer there of 67. Okay, and hopefully we would agree still that that thing there is slightly nicer to work out than that one there, even though they're actually going to give us the exact same answer. Okay, finally then, we've got 9.6 divided by 0.8. So writing that as a fraction, I've got 9.6 over 0.8. How can I get rid of my decimals? Well, I need to multiply top and bottom by 10. And remember, when we're doing this, these numbers need to be the same. If they are not the same, okay, then you've not found an equivalent fraction, so your answer at the end is not the same. Okay, so we're multiplying it by 10, we've got 96 divided by 8. Okay, again, you might want to set it out like that. Decide how many 8's go into 9. Well, one of them does, with one left over. How many 8's go into 16? 2. So we find then 12 is our answer. Okay, so when we're looking to do these, we need to multiply it to get rid of the decimal points in both of our numbers. Okay, that is what is making this, hopefully, a bit easier.